here we are, ready for another episode of Legends Look Back. Very excited to finally get her impression. She did it. Freddie and I were on the Cosmic Forest recently talking about Dark Empire, the greatest Star Wars story of all time, ever told. Indisputable. Nobody would ever disagree with that take. And Emily decided she would go ahead and read it. You know, could participate in the roundtable, listen to what we had to say, jump in the chat, all that good jazz. And yet I have not yet heard what she thinks about Dark Empire. So without further ado, finally, Emily is going to tell us all about what she thinks about Naked Palps and, you know, all the other stuff.
Wow. That was an experience. I can tell you that.
Very well naked.
He was naked, not just in one scene, but like in many scenes, like for an uncomfortable amount of time. So I can definitely see, because the only scene we ever show on the show is like a more tasteful one, and then there's some other ones that are less tasteful, and it was very interesting. I feel like Dark Empire was probably the comics equivalent of Splinter of the Mind's Eye, in my opinion. It was highly stylized art.
I've been shot.
That doesn't look right. Like none of the faces look normal. I had to tell based on how the characters were written who was talking, but it made me understand Jared's tattoo way, way more. So I very much enjoyed it. The plot made no sense at all. The art was something to like keep track of, and there was a lot of naked. It did not disappoint.
You got to get on that level, Emily. You just gotta. I'm not saying you're not smart enough for it, but I'm just saying like you might need to reread it in order to truly grasp.
Smart enough for
10
it.
times.
You gotta like. There's so much there psychologically that you got to get on the same playing field for. So maybe you just missed it. Swing.
I'd like to dub that image that we always show of Palpatine, Sweet Cheeks. Sweet Cheeks Palpatine.
Sweet cheeks.
What the cover from
Blue
was it
goop
issue
covered
5?
cheeks.
No, Emily, no offense. I you don't have to like it as much as me. You don't have to like it as much as me.
No, I liked it. I'm just saying, and I liked Splinter of the Mind's Eye. It is indicative of a certain time in Star Wars literature, I think. Where like there wasn't a lot else going on. And there were just some really bold choices that were made. And I loved it. I really did love it.
Okay.
But like,
all right.
That was my take.
Yeah, your take should have led with I loved it. I really did.
I'm so sorry.
However,
I'm so sorry. Next time I was trying to remember because I've also read some other things since. And so I was trying to refresh my mind with like my fresh take. So
yeah, I gave you like a good 2 minutes notice on this. Okay, but the characters, not looking photorealistic to, you know, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford. Who cares? Just don't try to make them photorealistic. Just don't go for the
story.
Actors' likenesses. Stylize it. So it's like it
was stylized.
Characters, right?
The colors were very unique. I've never seen that color in comics, and the faces, like it was definitely an artistic choice. But if you're used to reading comics that are a little more realistic, it can be a little jarring to come into this expecting one thing and getting another.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, fresh.
Maybe that's my issue is that I've read it so many times. I don't expect anything other than the story I've read 50 times.
You know what? That's probably it, Jared, because coming into it freshly, you're just like, this art is totally like the faces aren't on. You start to judge it a little bit, but then the digger, you deep into
Watch
it.
Your mouth, Freddie, yeah.
The deeper you dig into it, is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, Emily's gotta reread it in order to truly. No, maybe she should just go on to Dark Empire 2.
Let's take a time out there. I'm reading Dark Empire 2 right now, and
all right,
I have to keep on taking timeouts and breathe a little and just be like, it's gonna be okay.
If it was a movie, it would be an adrenaline rush the whole time. The whole time's an adrenaline rush. Something's always happening, and it's not just like
That's
3 storylines. It's like 10 different things that happen,
and it's so much crazy. It's just
have
crazy.
You got to the part yet where Luke falls in love with one of his students?
No, but I think I'm getting close. Like I see the foreshadowing.
Dark Empire 2.
Yeah, it gets a little awkward. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You wait. Yeah, sorry.
But it does have Imperadrios Brand, the greatest Jedi Master who ever lived.
That's right. I mean, I'm definitely gonna keep reading.
You have to, Emily. You're gonna love it. You're gonna here's my theory. After you commit to Dark Empire, you finish the first one. You hit the second one, you're already aware of the art that's coming. You appreciate it just a bit more. The story does not get any less crazy. And then you go back to read one and you're just like, this is what started it all. How beautiful.
How beautiful this. No, Kenobi used to be my least favorite Star Wars book. And after our round table, I think it's my number one. So I totally agree with you. On a reread, I think it would continue to improve. And I am going to reread it.
Everything deserves a second chance.
But that's my initial thoughts. You asked me honestly. I keep it real, y'all. If you're new to Legends, please identify with me because otherwise I have no role on this show.
Great job, Emily.
I joke about how much I like the story.
Thank you.
You legitimately do not have to have the same opinion as me. You're welcome to not like it. It is.
Y'all, he berates me behind the scenes.
I do know that
I need help.
Like half of Star Wars fans hate Dark Empire. And then the other
really?
half, and then the other half are right. But half of them, hate it, and that's fine.
Love
like
it,
you really
man.
don't. It is bonkers.
All right.
But you know what else is
It's
bonkers?
awesome.
Are we ready
It's
to
like
start the show
Legends.
now?
There we go. She's out of here.
Oh my. Okay.
You're welcome to be here for the show, Emily. Rick, I'm sorry I spoiled the fact that Luke falls in love with one of the students in Dark Empire 2.
It's fine.
It's also not the only time he falls in love with one of his students. But you know
Yeah.
what? Nobody's falling in love with anybody's students tonight here on our back to school special of Legends Look Back. That's right. It is back to school time over in the U.S. America. Why did I say it that way? I don't know. If you're back to school, if you're not, if you got kiddos hopping on the school bus,
I'm just going to start
Rick's magic school bus shirt, hey, you're in the right place. If you're not, you're here. So let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the Utini Podcast Network, a Star Wars books podcast for people who were eliminated first in the spelling bee over the word radar, but who can spell Jeruus Sabaoth in their sleep. Yeah, that happened to me, for real, legitimately. It happened in school. First one, I went right up to the microphone, said, I'm going to be first, I'm going to win this thing. Missed the first word, sat down, humiliated. My entire class went, oh, when it happened. It was horrible. But you know what? I can spell Jeruus Sabaoth in my sleep just like you probably can if you're listening to Legends Look Back. This is a show where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined by the man who is just about at least half as buff as James Lucino, Freddie C.
Hello, everyone. First of all, hello, Penelope and Nia. I know you guys are watching today, so I just want to say that. But first of all, I didn't make it on the last episode, and I apologize. Had a concussion, second concussion of Legends Look Back. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Third time's the charm.
But it was an eye-opening experience to feel the chemical reaction of what stress does to your brain, especially when it's injured, and really the positivity and pushing positivity. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing that. It's healthy for everybody.
Glad you're back, buddy. Glad you're back. It was scary.
Thank you, sir.
Freddie said, I had a head injury. I don't think I have a concussion. I'm probably okay. I'll be here for the show. And then an hour before the show, he said, yeah, I'm going to the ER.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. That's great. It's fine. You know who else is great is Emily Daybeck. Even if she only likes, Dark Empire half as much as me. That's fine. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Well, I turned 30 yesterday, so I feel like I officially belong. And I will remind you, Jared, that not smart enough to handle Dark Empire. I had a master's degree before any of you jokers. So
That's right.
I just want to say, and it is in teaching, so I feel very at home here.
Don't you have 2 master's degrees?
Just one.
Oh, okay. Where'd I get the idea that you had 2? Maybe that's just how
I
much
had 2
smarter than me
minors.
I think you are.
What
Okay.
a useless thing. Yeah. 2 minors. That was my thing.
Well, not to one up you or anything. That is kind of his thing. Our producer, Rick Grace, if I remember correctly, had 2 majors in college.
3. Even more
my
useless than
gosh.
2 minors. There's 3 majors. I tried to argue into getting two bachelor's degrees, and they kept telling me that would be absolutely worthless. So just stop talking.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was a senior by hours for half of my time in college. So
wow.
Yeah.
I do remember you having two. So we had a shared major. We had some classes together. And then you were always like, you do know I have a degree in videography, right?
Yeah. I added a second Bible major, a third major, my last 2 years. So
a second Bible major.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, I knew that you were just radiating holiness over there.
Yeah.
In your school bus shirt.
Yes.
I love that shirt so much.
Boop, boop, boop,
Let's be real. Yep. Everybody wanted Miss Frizzle for a teacher. She was literally my role model in college. I think I wrote an essay for her, like about her, for my master's degree. Truly.
Nice. That's awesome.
I was like, Miss Frizzle was the best teacher, and here's why.
Oh, yeah.
I love that it's like made a comeback. There's like the remix show. What do you call it? The revamp?
Yeah, it's like Rides Again. Magic School Bus Rides Again.
So my kids have watched it. Like they understand. That way I don't have to like try to explain to them. When I was a kid, there was a show where school buses could fly and invade people's bloodstreams and see sound waves. It's like
you want to go in your body?
It's a weird concept.
Oh my goodness. We were watching that like with my son because he asked 1,000 questions about everything. So we're like, we'll just put you in front of the TV back when TV actually taught you something and let you watch the Magic School Bus. And I was thinking about like how that show does not age well. It's like, yeah, we're going to invade the privacy of a classmate and go inside his body. That'd be fun.
They brought it back around.
There's a lot of consent issues, but you did learn a lot about the human body.
You did.
I learned that if you eat too many of those greeny weenies, you turn orange. Or whatever they were. You know, those like
and
sea
quicksand.
Is that what it is?
Can you say greeny weenies again for the mixtape?
No, thank you. No, thank you.
I don't know. I'm fairly certain it was problematic in like race representation.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I don't know for sure. So we're just gonna breeze right past it. Anyway, Rick, is that an actual Magic School Bus shirt?
It is. It is
just
not.
a school bus
shirt.
School
bus.
Was that your uniform for when you were an actual bus driver?
It was not. My wife actually said, I want us all to have matching clothes for the first day of school. And I was like, great. And so
I said she would.
Yeah. And so
I thought it was like red shirts or something. That's way baller. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we all had different, like, my son had shorts that were like this with a blue shirt and a pocket that had this stuff. My daughter had like an elaborate dress with like frilly school buses on it. My wife had a shirt, like a blouse that was kind of like this that she wore over a black dress. And so we were all looking pretty fly in our school bus clothes.
I gotta see a picture of that. Post that in the Discord.
Yes, please do.
All right, we'll do.
Now we are going to be talking about the world of Jedi training in Star Wars Legends. That is, of course, there is this rich set piece in the Legends timeline, and it's a big diversion. From diversion, is that the right word? Departure from where they go in like the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
From where we end up in canon, where it's in flames and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
F's in the chat for all the Jedi Academy students in canon, but not in Legends. In Legends, it's awesome, and there's crystal snakes and multiple generations of solo kids. And anyway, we're going to talk about everything there was to love about the Jedi Academy in Star Wars Legends. But before we do, my kids just recently went back to school last week, and we got a little notice from the principal the night before school starts. Hey, by the way, just a few things you need to know. One of these warnings that we got from the principal brought a little tear to my eye.
Mm.
All right. It was when I started second grade, just like my daughter is now. When I started second grade, the biggest, property in the world was Pokemon. I mean, we're talking about like right about 1999. The first movie's coming out. This was the big thing. You could go to Burger King and get your little gold. You have like the gold Pokemon cards, Freddie?
Oh, totally. I have them
Yeah.
still.
Of course you would.
I do too.
I remember that's where I learned the word tarnished. My mom's like, don't touch it. You'll tarnish it. And I was like, what does that mean?
Me too. I don't know if I've ever cracked him out of his case, but I bet you my little brother has the stinker. Anyway, she got a notice from her teacher that said, please don't bring Pokemon cards to school and try to trade them at recess. And I was like, what year is this? 1999? I mean, this
when
was
I taught years ago, that was my rule too. I was like, it causes way too much conflict. These kids are really into Pokemon.
We
Even
still
when you
are.
taught. So Emily, a bit of information I didn't know here until a week ago, and if I did know, I forgot it 'cause I'm a narcissist. And that is that you were an actual teacher.
I was. I worked with high school, middle school, elementary, and now my kids are like early childhood. So I've got a bit of experience in all the areas. But yes, I taught first grade. That was when I was like an actual classroom teacher, and they were obsessed with Pokemon cards. So much so that I said if I caught them trading during class, I took them. And so I had a drawer full of Pokemon cards, and I just kind of thumbed through them, check them out.
How you learned how to riffle shuffle?
Yeah. And I don't remember what I did with them at the end. I'd like to think I gave them back, but I don't really remember.
Who had the Clefairy?
Yeah.
Well, Emily,
I might have sold them back. I think if I took something and then they earned enough points with like good behavior and stuff like that.
Are you a smuggler?
That's
they
what I'm
could buy
saying.
them back.
They
were really into that.
Only
positive
money.
Enforcement.
So this Charizard, huh?
Yeah.
How much is this holographic?
I want to see the holo. Yeah.
This payback is going to pocket the Charizard, but you can have back all the commons and uncommons.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Well, we've got some fun stuff to talk about here as it pertains to our back to school season. But first, merch. Who has anything fun to show off this week? I've got something thematic that ties into the show, and I had to show it off. It couldn't wait till next week. Like, it had to happen this week. And
Same.
I'm very, very excited. All right, Emily's got something. What do you have?
I am ready for my first day of
Yes.
school.
Holy cow. That's almost Dark Empire colors.
I know.
Blue and purple.
So get this. My husband is in a teaching role right now. He found this abandoned in his classroom.
Whoa.
No idea how long it's been there. It's like rusted on the inside. It's pretty cool.
Did it have a moldy sandwich inside or something?
No, I think it was empty, but he did find it. I thought that was the coolest thing. He's found a lot of stuff. Plus, I have this.
Ooh.
I got this for my 30th birthday, a little after school snack treats.
Nice.
Galactic baking. Super excited to check this out. There
Very
was
cool.
a Legends reference in my other cookbook. I'll have to scan this one for Legends references too. It'll be really fun.
Now I've got to know the Legends reference. That's we could do like a baking with Legends look back episode where we go through the Star Wars cookbooks. And one time for a Star Wars movie night we did with our youth group back in Massachusetts, we made the lightsaber pretzel sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my wife, get the pretzel sticks at the store, and we're gonna make the lightsabers. I meant this size pretzel sticks, you know, the like. She got the jumbo size.
The cigar.
They were like Cubans, and folks the teenagers were lightsaber battling with these all over the churchyard. It was one of the proudest moments in my entire ministry.
That's epic. I love
Even though it wasn't what I asked for in the first place, she knew.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's what I would have gotten. I don't know why you want the mini ones. Those aren't realistic.
I know.
I didn't know they made them that big. I didn't know those existed. But great picks, Emily. Very proud, and also happy birthday.
Oh yeah.
Ready.
All right. Well, to pair with Emily's book, I went through my archives. There's a lot of stuff that I have found. I'm going to show you just a couple of them.
I love that Freddie doesn't have a collection. He has archives.
That's so true.
The archives. This here, the Star
I
Wars
got that
cookbook with Wookiee cookies and other galactic recipes. So it's pretty cool. It doesn't look as cool as yours, but there's a Yoda soda.
Freddie, it's got like photos of like action figures out. Yeah.
That's really cool.
The photography in that is bazonkers.
It honestly is very inspirational. Look at that.
Wow.
So I've got that, and then I found a few books that I might. Let me see if I can grab them first of all. Okay, there's a lot over here.
Freddie's
so I found this
through the archives.
Ooh.
The Barnes &
I
Noble
totally forgot I had
collectible
this
edition of the original trilogy novelizations. Nice.
I've got that.
Shiny.
I'm currently trying to collect all of those, Freddie. There's 4 different versions of that book.
Yeah.
Shout out to our buddy
There
Jordan.
are 4 different versions. I didn't even know that.
There are, and unfortunately, you have the most common.
Well, there you go. All right, here's another book which I didn't even remember that I owned, and it's actually pretty thin for a Star Wars book, but it's Red Harvest.
Nice
Look at that
hardback.
cover.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, look at the blood dripping from the lips there.
Oh yeah,
Really,
look at
that. Really paints a
beautiful.
picture.
Pretty thin for a Star Wars book.
Mm-hmm.
See that? Yeah.
That's because the zombies ate the other half.
Oh.
That's a good one. Scoundrels.
Mm-hmm.
Totally need to get back into this. I've seen a lot of people digging into Scoundrels recently, so that's pretty great.
It's a good book.
That. It is such a good book.
That one's also divisive. I know a lot of people who don't love it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like a lot of things.
Yeah, I was about to say they're wrong, but I'm glad you like it, Freddie.
Here we go.
Ooh.
The Force Unleashed 2. Love that. These are books I totally forgot I had. I just went through some old stuff. Very glad that I have them. This one here I did not forget though. Death Troopers.
There you go. I just got the new cover for that, and I don't know where I'm going with this, but you have the old cover. I've got the new one. You got the old one.
There you go. And then one last thing, which I'm not gonna flash you guys, but I'm gonna flash you with a box real fast. And
wait,
those of you who know what this is will love it. So it's a blue box. I'm not gonna focus too much on it. I'm gonna show you this blue box for you. For those of you who know what's in it, congratulations. For those who don't, what comes out of that box is this box here.
What are we looking at?
What is that?
What are we looking at? Are you ready for this?
No.
Okay. First of all,
how do you open it?
And then open it.
Freddie just spun it around 4 different directions and he can't find the seam.
I was trying to look for this. There's some information here. I don't want to show it yet. I'm not ready.
Okay.
It's the 3-book cycle by Timothy Zahn in cassette form.
What?
Oh my gosh. I've never seen this before.
In cassette?
Check this out. Hammer Tong.
Oh my.
Doesn't even have a cover on it. Not even sure.
Like the short story
check that
from Tales of the Mos Eisley Cantina?
Yeah.
There's a cassette of that?
There's a cassette of it. It's right here. Unopened. Do you see the plastic on it?
Pristine condition, man.
Yeah. Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn.
I'm scared to know how much you paid for this.
Oh, I've had this when it came out, so probably like $20.
What? That's a
Dark
genuine
Force Rising.
collectible. Genuine collectible.
Dark Force Rising. And there's 2 cassettes for each of the stories, and the Hammer Tong is just one, so it's a short story.
Yeah.
And then of course, Last Command.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
Freddie, I gotta say, like, it's not even every year that I'm surprised by something existing in the world of Legends collectibles I didn't know existed. And yet you did it today.
There you go.
Did it today. Wow.
That's crazy. That's beautiful, man.
I'll give you $10.
Yeah, I love the cover of it too with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that is amazing. Audio listeners, got to check this out. This is fantastic. Yeah. That's great. Wow. Freddie, I don't feel like mine's all that great anymore.
Should have gone last.
Yeah.
Should have pulled a Rick.
You should have pulled a Rick.
Yes,
let me show you what I got. I'm just kidding. I got hardly anything. And okay, I've actually been thinking about downsizing a little bit, and I'm going to a bookstore tomorrow, so this could be really ironic and not age well at all when I come back with a box of books. But I'm hoping to take a box of books of duplicates and like sell them and stuff.
Okay.
Also
sounds smugglery.
Yeah. Hey, you want to buy some Star Wars books?
Hey.
And
go home and rethink your life.
Seriously, why'd you sell them? Come on. So yeah, I don't think I have. Okay, I do have something, but I probably shouldn't talk about it yet because I haven't told my wife about it yet. But got a haircut, and
we can save it.
GameStop was right there, so
we can save it, Rick.
Yeah,
there's always another chance. All right, moving on. I got a couple things. One, I forgot I pre-ordered this, and then it charged my card, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was somebody who used to look like me and talk like me. He had the same name as me, but it's not me. Now, I didn't do this. Now, I did this 6, 8, 10 months ago. Who knows? I don't know. I bought the Rogue One expanded edition soundtrack, and it is...
Oh, hey.
It is gorgeous. Did you get it?
Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and it's great because this didn't previously exist. You could not get the Rogue One soundtrack on vinyl in its entirety. There was only an abbreviated version, and I really like that opening track. Bum ba bum bum ba ba bum bum bum.
Oh yeah.
You know, when Krennic is driving his ship and he's like, "What are you doing out here being a farmer?" and shoots his wife. You know, so these are really cool, collectible. The packaging is great. It's kind of got like the Death Star plans on it.
So cool.
And then look at this
That's
Borg
really,
gullet.
really cool.
Oh, gullet.
Yeah.
Masterpiece on the back of this. Very good, Freddie. Freddie's better at impressions than I ever realized.
Mm-hmm.
This one's cool with Vader and the Death Star. Anyway, the music is even better than the artwork on this. And it's surprisingly difficult to get these back in the box, so I'm going to deal with this later. And then, in honor of back to school season, I bought books I already owned, and my wife was less than happy about that. But they came in a box, and I did not own the box.
Ooh.
And, well,
hey.
all right. So I got the Jedi Academy trilogy, the box set. These do have the Legends banners, but let's be honest, my copy's very old and crusty and have been through a lot. Okay, so these are in pristine condition and available on Kevin J. Anderson's website. Each one of these, there is very affordable too. Each one of these is signed by KJA himself.
What?
And I did not own KJA's autograph. I've got an expansive collection of Star Wars author autographs. It's really grown to be quite sizable. I'm pretty proud of it. But I didn't have him, and he's a Legends, staple. And so now I have 3 of his autograph in one cute little box.
Yay.
Yeah.
Crush.
So I'm glad that struck a nerve with y'all. Thank you. My wife was less than excited about those.
Did she have the same same tone of, don't you already have that book?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Except for it was
I'm trying to find this.
Take the judginess of the way you said that and amp it up to.
Yeah,
like
I was trying to be nice, but I heard it just fine.
Great, good. Okay. But thank you all for encouraging me. And of course, hey, supporting Legends authors that we love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so huge shout out to Kevin J. Anderson. Thanks for the books. And let's get to it. All right. We are talking about the Jedi Academy training back to school season in Star Wars Legends. That's what we're calling it. First and foremost, who is like your favorite of Luke's Legends Jedi Academy students in all of Star Wars Legends? So the only criteria here is they had to have trained to be a Jedi on Yavin 4 at the Academy at some point in Star Wars Legends. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be strictly from the Jedi Academy trilogy. They don't have to have graduated. You see what I'm saying? They just had to be there at some point. Who's somebody that you really like amongst all the Jedi Academy students, any generation? Who's going to start us off? How about Freddie? What you got, Freddie?
Okay. Let's see. I was originally going to say Gantoris, but we all know his untimely demise. F's in the chat for Gantoris.
Did he burst into flame or something?
Something like that. I can't recall exactly how he went, but he was the red herring.
I'm pretty sure he was incinerated by Exar Kun.
Totally.
Right.
His soul sucked out,
does.
probably trapped forever, screaming for pain, whatever. It's F's in the chat. That's all I gotta say for Gantoris. But I would say, would you consider Kip Duron his apprentice?
Yeah.
I like Kip. I like Kip's story.
He was sent to detention a time or two. We'll say that much. But he is certainly an iconic character from the series. He was at the Jedi Academy. He was enrolled. He was enlisted. He took some time. He was shipped off to military school.
He did some bad things for
he did. Something happened at military school. We won't say what.
He did some ethically questionable things that you could be like, I see what you did there. It's not very good, but I see what you did there. Very much Kip Duron. He you know what? Considering where he was at his entire life, could you really? What else could you have done or thought of? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For those who don't know, Kessel.
Sure. They found him on Kessel. That's right. He had a bromance with Han Solo and the glitter stem spiders, and then he became a genocidal Jedi maniac, and then was not held accountable in any kind of, credible way, and almost started a galactic civil war over the fact that he was serving on the Jedi Council and wasn't punished for his crimes. But he's still Freddy's favorite Jedi from the Jedi Academy, so we're counting it. We're counting it, baby.
Imagine growing up on Kessel and that's your life.
So,
and then
okay,
you become a Jedi.
Don't spoil it for me. Like, I've read Jedi Academy trilogy, and I know some of the antics he has there. Is there more beyond that trilogy that Kip gets caught up in?
Yeah.
Okay.
In New Jedi Order, he ends up training Jaina Solo for a bit, but he's got there's these two schools. This isn't spoilery.
Okay.
There's two major schools of thought amongst the Jedi Council. So these are like Luke students who then become Jedi Masters themselves, but they've all had their own crazy experiences, and most of them too old. They came to the Academy too old, and so they've got checkered experiences. And Kip has this hyper militant view of how to handle the Yuuzhan Vong War.
Oh, okay.
He's like, let's be proactive and militant, and whereas some others are like, no, Jedi are not, we're generals. So it echoes kind of in an interesting riff on the prequels.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he falls in love with Jaina too. That might happen. I don't remember. We're gonna move on. There's a lot of falling in love with students in Legends.
Jaina?
I don't remember for sure, but
okay.
Ringing a bell. There's definitely multiple people vying for Jaina's love in post Return of the Jedi Legends. There's one love triangle that's got the bugs. You know about the bug books?
Yes, you told me not to read them. I started reading it. It's like Dark Nest. And you're like, yeah, you should probably put that down.
Don't get me started on the bug books. Okay. And Emily, while we're on you, who would be your favorite of the Jedi Academy students in Legends?
Does Mara Jade count?
For sure.
Okay. 100%. She would be my favorite. I feel like because she came in so old, she's like a straight up adult. It just seems like, and literally blood on her hands.
Who served on the Empire.
Yeah, she had definitely some problems. But, I like to say, I'd like to support lifelong learning and choosing a different path. It's probably for the best.
That's right.
Plus Mara Jade. You really can't go wrong with Mara Jade.
She found the love of her life.
There you go. Yeah.
From what I remember, if I remember correctly,
Redemption of Mara.
I'm currently rereading all the Bantam era '90s books. And I don't know if she ends up back at the Jedi Academy in any book other than I, Jedi. But in I, Jedi, Stackpole kind of retcons Jedi Academy trilogy to put her there. And she and Corran Horn perform a heist on Exar Kun. It's just, it's great.
What?
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think that's a good preface part, right? There are two Jedi Academies in Legends. Would you say there's two in Legends, or is it completely... I, Jedi is... What year was that written?
20... Well, could be 99. I think the Jedi Academy trilogy was 96. I think it's shortly after that. I'm still thinking it's 90s.
Okay.
I think it's 99.
So basically there are two schools. There's the one that got retconned and the retconnee. Is that right?
You've
got because there's one with Corran Horn and one without Corran Horn.
That's right.
Basically.
Yeah, but
that's how it
basically
goes.
The idea is he spent some time there.
Yeah.
He may not have gone through all 4 years, but he dipped his toe in for sure.
He's a rogue.
And that's my understanding of Mara Jade too. She didn't go through the full curriculum. She got the crash course.
Which, to be fair, the way Luke taught, I don't think I would be able to go through.
Hang on to that one. We're coming back to the training methods in a minute. All right, shelf that for a second. What was it like to be a Jedi Academy student? What exactly is there? The full curriculum. We're coming back to it in a minute. Rick, who's your pick? Who's your pick, Rick?
My pick, Rick. Yeah. I'm going to say Exar Kun because the guy never left. He was just there for forever.
He was a Jedi.
He needed some extracurriculars, and so he stuck around for, what is it, millennia? And stuff like that. So go big or go home.
How to enslave a race.
Yes.
Taught by Exar Kun.
Should we allow that as a pick?
I was gonna say Kip, so Exar Kun was my backup.
I've always had a soft spot for Loey. All right, Lobaka.
Oh, okay.
My pick is Lobaka, Next Generation. Like Degrassi. See what I did there?
Okay, I see what you did there.
Lobaka, he's like Jason and Jaina's fluffy friend. He's got your, Chewbacca energy. He's Chewie's nephew. He's got a crimson lightsaber back before they had, officially dubbed, "Hey, dude, those are for the bad guys." You know what he has to say to that? Yeah, try taking that away from. There you go. But not like rah-rah we talked about a couple weeks ago with the speech impediment. Lobaka, in fact, ends up kind of responsible for the first really fun story for the Solo kids in the Young Jedi Knights books. Let's move on into the most notable stories that happened at Luke's Jedi Academy. My pick is the very first book of the Young Jedi Knights series. These are maybe my very favorite Legends books. They're just so delightful. Like, even the conflict in them, you just know, it's fun. It's all right. Everything's okay. Also, I've got like a holographic cover of this thing. I don't know if I've ever noticed.
Whoa.
How shiny.
There's some that are shiny and some that are not. You gotta, look.
Yeah. That's how you get kids to read right there.
That's right.
For sure. All right, here we go. Officially dubbing this, Making Legends Look Back History. Are you ready for this?
No.
This cover from now on shall henceforth be known as Glowy Lowy.
Glowy Lowy.
Now I gotta know if my cover is a Glowy Lowy.
Glowy Lowy, yeah. So Lobaka he's mechanically minded. He likes to, Chewbacca tinkers on the ship, and Chewbacca's like, this one goes there, that one goes here. It riffs on that. Lowy likes to fix stuff. He likes to tinker on computers. So he rebuilds a skyhopper, flies it over the jungle, sees something shiny, goes back and tells his friends, which, by the way, he's got a mechanical translator, MTD. He's got a droid that's a belt buckle. And it's a sassy droid, like C-3PO, kind of snarky, but it translates for Loey. So Channel Cobb, Jason, Jaina, Lobaka, and the droid, the belt buckle, they go off in search for what was the shiny thing. Then it turns out they discover there's a crash-landed stormtrooper named Coral, who's with a Q, because it's Star Wars. And Coral has been on the planet for 23 years. He crash-landed on Yavin 4 after the Battle of Yavin and has been surviving in the jungle for over 2 decades. So it's a really fun story, kind of kickstarts the whole line of adventures. Somebody kidnaps somebody, and I don't remember if Coral holds the Jedi children for ransom or if they hold him for ransom in the jungle. But one of those things happens.
I'm pretty sure he holds the kids, because that's just so very on brand for Legends. But it would be a huge plot twist, and I would be very much for them holding the stormtrooper hostage. That'd be awesome.
It makes more sense because there's 5 of them and one of him.
But I mean, if he's had 20 years to either wallow in complacency or like hone his skills, I mean, there's potential there.
He ends up being like a major player all throughout the series, for the 13 books. So he comes back up and is a recurring character. And anyway, it's this great like little get to know all the characters story in the jungle where there's kidnapping and crash landing and it's great. So that's a good little story. Heirs, I can never remember this. You got Heir to the Jedi and Heir to the Empire. This one's called, if I can read it off this glowy cover without my glasses,
Heirs of the Force.
Heirs of the Force. Couldn't have said it better myself, Freddie. Glowy Lowy. There we go. All right. What is your pick, my man, of your favorite Jedi Academy story in Legends?
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Jedi Academy trilogy. I think you can power through those books fairly easily. They're just so readable. To be honest, though, before I even read those, I had this book, and I really don't remember it at all. I read a synopsis of it just to refresh my mind, and I barely remember it. I'm going to have to read it again, but it's Darkest Nights.
Oh,
with
yeah.
the other shiny.
That one's holographic. Look at that.
Yeah, it's another shiny book here, holographic.
Is that Brachus, the villain on the cover there?
That's Zek, the Dark
I'm
Jedi
all
student.
about these covers, y'all.
Yeah,
they're
pretty
fantastic.
solid.
Aren't they great? Oh yeah.
So in this book, basically Jaisa. I am just concussed.
The third twin that we never knew about. I don't
Concussed.
I don't guess Jaisa could be a twin if there's 3 of them.
First of all, I love the beginning of this little synopsis in the back here. It goes, "When the Empire died, they were born." Kind of like that. It's pretty cool. Very dramatic too. Very Star Warsy. But basically, the twins and Lobaka are off to Kashyyyk because Loi's sister is about to enter the terrifying rite of passage for the Wookiees, and the Dark Jedi student, I believe he's a student, Zek, he's down there to mess with the computer mainframe of the Wookiees. So pretty interesting read. It's been a long time. I'm gonna probably dig into this again. It looks like a pretty fun book, and it's very shiny.
Nice.
Super shiny.
Another good one that follows in that series, and we can move on from the Young Jedi Knights. There's some great stories. I think the first 6 are set in large part there at the Jedi Academy. The 6th book, what is that? Jedi Under Siege 6th book in the series then is the climactic battle of this first arc, and it takes place at the Jedi Academy. The Shadow Academy, those are like the Dark Jedi school.
Yeah.
And theirs is a space station.
Yes.
Yeah, run by a Night Sister, and then
Night Beacon.
And
is
then
this the station?
Yeah, honestly, Freddie, I'm looking at like a 5-inch screen, so
Sure.
I couldn't tell you.
Let's go for yes.
It's
That's
either a
it.
space station or a spaceship, so definitely space. Yeah, the big battle. The bad guys bring their school to battle against the good guys.
My school's gonna
And
beat your school.
I'm pretty sure this is like a Disney Channel original movie at some
Yeah,
point.
it would be a great Disney
And
Channel
the
original
breakdance
movie.
for 2 hours straight.
I've definitely seen this one.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. They're all throughout the book. The entire book is a battle. It's like 150 pages of just the battle
fighting.
Yeah, and it's creative, and each little character's got their own beat. So there you go. The first 6 books of that definitely get into the all the shenanigans on the Jedi Academy there at Yavin 4. And Rick, tell the good folks about another Jedi Academy story in Legends.
You know, I was just thinking about, like their novel, like their children's books, Jeffrey Brown, like his book, he has a Jedi Academy book. It's not Yavin 4. I'm talking about the guy who writes like the bedtime stories for kids, like Goodnight Leia.
I own 1 or 2, but have not made it all the way through.
Yeah, same. But one of them is Jedi Academy. I've read it to my kids. I don't know anything about it, but I'm just wondering, wonder if that book qualifies. But it's definitely not Yavin 4. So, anyway.
Look at that.
Not Legends, though. Right.
Let's see. So. I haven't read this one yet, but how about the time Anakin finds ancient rabbi? Who is this Jedi Master?
A rabbit. It's a rabbit, not a rabbi.
Did I say rabbi?
How many Bible degrees did you get, Rick?
All right. Okay. Is this becoming the new chives? Are we going to talk about rabbi and
the ancient rabbi?
The ancient rabbi.
His tassels, his philandries are long, and
his phylacteries. Yeah.
That was wonderful.
What did I say? Philandries? That's not a word.
That's fingers.
Yeah. So the first book, I believe, Rick, you're talking about the first book in the Junior Jedi Knights series.
Oh boy.
What is it called? Let's see if we can find it. The first book of the Junior. I've not actually read these yet. I know bits and pieces and chunks because they're referenced in other books, but I'm saving them. All right, making it through the Adult Legends books before I go back and read these. Also, they're kind of, I don't know where you're at in the collecting of all these, Rick, but getting your hands on a complete set of all 6 Junior Jedi Knights is tough. How much do you think those are worth?
Junior, I gotta look up what these are to see if I have, because I can't even. See, I don't know. I've got the Young Jedi Knights, the Junior Jedi Knights. Let's see.
These follow the next generation. So these follow.
Okay.
And the next class, not generation. Anakin Solo in his.
Okay. I've got a couple of them.
Tahiri Vela, who is a huge character in New Jedi Order and beyond, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi, all that good stuff. She's the barefoot Tusken Raider Jedi. as Legends does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emily's face right now, it's like, I don't believe you. That's insane.
Everything I've ever wanted. Title, please. What is this again?
Tahiri. Yeah, you're going to love her. I think I wrote a piece for you, Teeny, at one point.
Oh, my goodness. I would love that. Can you drop that in Discord later?
For sure. She's from Tatooine, and she likes to go barefoot. She's like, I ain't about to wear shoes around here. And you think that's great?
Yes!
There's so much more with her that will blow your mind that I'm not about to say.
I want to read that next.
Huge spoilers.
We've got a round table next week, but after that.
There's like some hardcore romantic like tragedies with her, and it's gut-wrenching, and there's dark side stuff, and there's brainwashing by aliens. And
is there enchantments? If you say yes,
there's time travel. There's time travel.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I don't understand how you haven't told me more about this.
Tahiri,
ancient rabbis.
And the ancient rabbis. They discover.
Very important.
It's like their first week of school, and they discover, and Legends did this. They'd be like, oh, hey, by the way, there's a 1,000-year-old Jedi master that nobody knew about. And he's like, yo, what's up, y'all? I've just been hanging out over here all these years. And
Senior Jedi Knights, the geriatric version.
I need assistance moving.
You could legit do it. There's so many in Legends, and he's one of them. His name is Ikrit. I'll throw up a picture. He's a little fluffy white rabbit.
Looks like a cat.
Yeah, Ikrit. He's dope. All right, so there you go. Great pick, Rick. That book that you're referencing,
pick Rick.
The first one is called The Golden Globe. I'm not kidding.
The Golden Globe. There it is. I'm looking at these right now. It looks like a set of them is on eBay for like $130 for all 6.
This is why I've not yet read them.
Yeah. But you can get them individually. It looks like pretty cheap. So, I mean, one's like $30, but yeah, you got to
The trouble is
find
you
your
can read it
deals.
in like 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty light, but they really do set up some huge characters for the rest of Legends. That's a great pick, Rick. So we've talked about Jedi Academy trilogy, though we haven't said much about it, other than Gantoris. F's in the chat for Gantoris. We talked about the young Jedi Knights, the junior Jedi Knights. Is there anything else, Emily, that we should say? Any other notable Jedi Academy stories in Legends?
Not the Jedi Knight Jedi Academy?
Are you talking about the video game with Jaden?
Yeah, I've seen some comments in the chat of some trees that are really hard to cut down.
Ooh.
They are.
So,
they're hard. Those pesky trees.
What is that? That's a really. Oh, that's right. I love the art on that.
Oh,
where it's like the two.
I didn't. Duh.
It's like their initials or something on the lightsaber handles.
Yeah, I've got the limited run collectible.
Oh yeah.
Copy
Hey,
of,
look at that.
Kyle
Jedi
Katarn
Jedi
himself,
Academy.
man. I should have thought of that one.
Now, I don't yet know the entire story with this because I started the game and didn't finish. Let's say it this way. Haven't yet finished.
Yeah.
Haven't yet finished.
Yeah.
I have, however, chopped down that pesky tree. So, got it.
Eventually.
It took me, I think, 3 nights of sitting down with the game on the first level, trying to figure out how to get out of that little opening stage. It's like not incredibly clear how to get out of there. So that's another Jedi Academy story. The one thing I remember about the Jedi Academy from that story is there's like an obstacle course. Luke's like, okay, now you got to make your way through the obstacle course. And of course, Luke would build an obstacle course in his Jedi Academy, right? I mean, that's how he learned from Yoda.
Sure.
I can be a backpack while you jump.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Let me just get in this backpack. They're like, Master
They have
Luke, this is
cool
weird.
rabbit guy, so I'm sure he'd do a great job.
I'm looking through all my Jedi Academy. I haven't opened this box in quite a while. I just found that there is a double-bladed blue lightsaber, which is my favorite lightsaber in all of Star Wars. It looks like probably Jaden Kors holding such. Is it Kors like the beer or core singular? I realize I'm now saying it like he's a frat boy. Anyway, Jaden, the main character, facing off against the Rancor. Look at this thing.
Rancor.
Rancor.
It is.
Concept art from there in the box. Very cool. Okay. That's a great pick, Emily.
Rancor.
If you know the main story of the game, please don't tell me. I have not yet finished. And then anything else we've overlooked, please let us know in the chat. Any other your favorite Jedi Academy story. Rick, there's one more that I just rediscovered today. I think we've got an image for it. That is the comic.
Yes.
Jedi Academy Leviathan.
Ooh.
You ever read this one, Freddie?
I have never read this one.
I've read it
Not that
and
I can
have
recall, at least.
forgotten everything about it.
You know, that's the cool thing, right? About reading all of this stuff is after you've gone through and read everything, you probably forgot what you read. So you just go back and read it all over again.
It features like that first class from the Jedi Academy. You got Dorsk 81, or is it Borsk? Dorsk 81, Streen, Kip Duran, the Night Sister, what's her name? And then they go to a planet. I think Luke maybe sends them out on a mission. He's like, okay, guys, if you really want to become Jedi, you got to go and do this mission. This planet called, they've got an issue. There's a monster. You're going to do great. See you later. And so he sends them off. And then, so it's like their first self-contained mission of having to go and do Jedi stuff without Luke's help. If I remember correctly. And to be honest, I have no idea. But very cool, isn't it, that there is actually a comic about this first generation of Jedi Academy students. I believe it's a mini-series. Okay, we've talked about some notable stories, some of our favorite characters from the Jedi Academy. Back to school season. Let's talk about their pedagogy here. Emily, you've got the master's degree, so we're going to come to you first. It's basically two main schools of thought, right? In the Old Republic, I almost said Old Testament. Woo. In the Old Republic, you've got your masters, your knights, and your Padawans. Each master, each big dog. I don't know. I don't guess they always have to be a master. They have one Padawan, like it's a master and apprentice relationship. You have him for like 10 years, maybe longer. Then eventually you ship them off. You get your own. They pick up their own. It's this apprenticeship model. Luke doesn't take that strategy. Luke is like, everybody's going to come to my school, and we're going to one-room schoolhouse it.
Well, he doesn't have time. He's got to rebuild an entire order with like zero help.
Yeah. Expediting process.
I feel like obviously smaller class sizes are to be commended. I think we can all agree there. So I think the Jedi apprentice, probably the best way to go. It cracks me up that Luke just sends him out to like sit in the woods. And like, it seems like he's never quite there when like Exar Kun is incinerating his students. He definitely could use maybe a classroom aide, somebody to kind of come alongside, maybe have some conversations.
He learns those lessons, though. He does end up bringing on some more help.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. It seems to be more like an unschooling approach. Like, yeah, just go and like learn about the Force and like sit around, man. Yeah. Like, open yourself up, listen to your feelings, and like very old school, which is a tactic. And he definitely gets some good. Off. Yeah, there you go.
Hangs out in Canto Bight because that might exist still. Who knows?
Sometimes Lando shows up and he's like, "Anybody want to go for a field trip?" And for real, it happens.
Lando Miss Frizzle, can you imagine?
Now that is the next.
What would he teach
series.
you?
You want to hop in my magic school?
Anybody want to see a card trick?
Oh man. Well, what have we here?
Yeah. All right, moving on. So now here's my question, Emily, with all of that. Is eventually, we do get little snippets of other teachers teaching other subjects. So, for example, you guys say Tion or Tione? Yeah, she's got the long
Tione,
white hair.
probably?
She ends up marrying Tion. I've always said Tion. Marries Cam Solusar, I think. One of Luke's original apprentices. She is like the historian / musician. So she teaches them the history of the ancient Jedi through song. So she's got her big, I almost said didgeridoo.
She's a bard.
Bassoon.
It's a bard Jedi.
Bassoon.
Yeah.
Barry Sachs.
I keep thinking I'm stuck on guitar, Rick, because you play the guitar. I know
She's
for
just
a
playing
fact,
her guitar in the corner.
I know for a fact it's not a guitar, but it's like an ancient stringed instrument that is.
I mean,
medieval.
it's like a hippie school. He's got a
Mandolin?
straight hippie school.
She teaches them she teaches them the lore of the ancient Jedi.
Yeah.
through song. And like, so that's where Kevin J. Anderson like unveils the story of who's the bald woman Jedi from the Tales of the Jedi books, the comics.
Oh man,
Nomi Sunrider.
Yes, that's right.
I really appreciate the help, guys.
The Jedi, right? We're talking about the Jedi.
No, I think she's after that. Her husband gets killed, and she's like, I guess I'll be a Jedi now.
Oh, that's right.
It's kind of woke in that, like, it's a little bit, yeah, it's very modern in its 90s-ness. So
it's true. It is.
She teaches history and music at the same time.
Yeah.
So I do like that there's different people teaching different subjects. So Luke's not trying to do it on himself. We learn Cam Solusar eventually takes on a lot of the teaching responsibilities. Emily, he's also from Dark Empire too. Okay, here's my big question. Are they learning any science and math?
Yeah. No.
How are they doing on STEM?
No,
you know,
probably not so hot.
More like
they're force wizards,
just the
right? Like they're space wizards. So like, magic and math and science are at ends. Math and science creates the empire, and it's like Grand Moff Tarkin. What's his line about? No, it's
Grand
not.
Moff Tarkin. It's
not
Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Keep
the dark arts.
Keep your Harry Potter out of my Legends show. All right.
It's not Tarkin. It's the guy who gets like force choked like a second later in A New Hope. He's like, we're not impressed with your source or whatever he says. Your
Is that Mahdi?
Yeah, Mahdi.
Yeah,
and
Mahdi.
Rum Mahdi.
Tag and Bink.
Dang, I don't know. I can't keep him straight anymore. Anyway,
the old farts in the room.
Yes, he was the young guy, the young ambitious twerp who's like, whatever he says. I can't remember the lines, so I'm gonna try.
Sorcery's garbage, basically.
Yeah. And so like that's it. Point. The Force is not about math and science. It's about being connected to the Force, the great force in the universe. That, yeah, okay.
At least Lobaka is doing science. He's like doing robotics there on Yavin 4, but he's clearly like doing an independent study. Like I don't think he's got a lot of help with that.
Independent study.
Yeah. It's definitely
I think the
independent study.
The Force, in my opinion, when I see what they're writing about in their stories, right? What I see is that the Force strengthens something that they're either already into, either the environment they're around is kind of it tames itself to whatever they're good at, right? And so if you have some sort of technological fancy, then you're going to specialize in something like that. If you're a hippie singing in the corner with your mandolin, you're probably going to tell some very important Jedi stories with imagery that you could only produce via the Force, and that's your strength, right? You're a Force librarian, basically. And then like Kip Duron, who all he knows is chaos, emits chaos in his Force.
Yeah.
That's a good point. There are different types of intelligence. There's like 8 different kinds, and people have different ones, and there's different learning styles. There's lots of differences in the way we learn that we're just now starting to kind of tap into. So
and look at Maul,
we
right?
have here at Legends Look Back, the extensive like encyclopedic knowledge of a niche topic that is outdated and irrelevant. What's that intelligence called?
Yeah, and you know what? Rick has a keytar. Yeah, so we could be like just like that hippie girl. What's her name?
Tion.
Did you say I could be just like that hippie girl? Is that your quote for the night?
Yes, you're in a school bus shirt, Rick.
Oh,
Rick is in a school bus shirt.
Freddie was about to make some kind of an insightful point. Where were you going with this, Freddie?
Oh yeah.
You know what? Totally lost track of what I was talking about, but
yeah. Hey, I'll jump in. But first, I want to pick on Freddie and make a tangent. So Freddie's always giving me a hard time about having all these books and not reading them. Like, oh, that's a nice book on your shelf there, Rick. Have you read it? And I'm like, no. And Freddie revealed today that he has every single canon book. Freddie, how many canon books have you read?
1.5.
Is it Vegas?
In a way.
Is it Plagueis?
Is it Plagueis? So I read Phasma, mainly because we had a producer who loved Phasma. I was like, let me check it out. I don't know much. Ended up liking the character, and then Jared score a slam dunk on his little whatever you call it, but I read half of Aftermath, or as he likes to call it,
Aftermath.
Aftermath.
Yeah, Freddie read half of Aftermath.
Aftermath. Yeah,
nailed it. Yeah, for sure.
Those are probably not my favorite canon books, but let me tell you, I mentioned all that to say. Freddie. Yeah, my favorite. I mentioned that to say the High Republic does a really good job at Light of the Jedi, especially illustrating different Force connectivities and those learning styles. I won't spoil anything for you, but that's what I thought of as we're discussing this.
Okay.
Is some of the ways that the Jedi of old would engage and interact with the Force, and the way that it's described is really, really beautiful. But
yeah, they were like allowed the freedom to kind of have their own perspective on it.
Yeah. So the question is, what would we like be excited about learning about? Is that the question?
Well, maybe, I might have figured out what I was trying to say earlier.
Okay, come back.
About Luke being a bad teacher. He probably honestly was a bad teacher. Let's be honest. He didn't really have a very hands-on approach. It was, let's, send you out there. And I think what his point was to just see what kind of Force called upon them, right? Like what was it that they were really good at? And in some cases, it's not. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's easier. It's sometimes a little bit better to let them teach themselves, or at least see which path they start to take, and then start to develop after you see what it is they're doing. And I feel like if you're a Jedi, the Force is calling upon you, and if you're just sitting there trying to listen, it's bound to give its message to you, and you're bound to go into that direction. So I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, so that's an excellent point, Freddie.
You're a little more.
You changed my mind.
Yeah, let's say like Luke allows, with his free-form method, allows the students to kind of pick their own path.
Yeah, student-led learning.
This dude just came from Tatooine not too long ago. He's like, I was on my way to pick up power converters. Now I'm here.
That does end up being one of the driving plot points for post Return of the Jedi Legends, is Luke is figuring out how to become the teacher of the next generation of both Dark Empire and Heir to the Empire. Set this up really well. Dark Empire ends with what's the last line? The best, like the first of the new generation, or the Jedi will rise again. The Jedi Knights will rise again. That's the
Jedi Knights will rise again.
The last
your favorite line.
Whereas the Thrawn trilogy ends with, "You're not the last of the old Jedi, Luke, but the first of the new." I think that's what Ben Kenobi tells him. So both of those continuities set up, what's to come, which is that, Luke has got to figure this stuff out. And he doesn't know a ton, and he only had 2 small crash courses with Jedi masters who were manipulating him and gaslighting him. And so, great guys in their own right, but not perfect. And so he's got to figure it all out. Okay, so lightning round here, Jedi Academy style, back to school, Legends Edition. What would be your favorite subject at the Jedi Academy, Freddie?
I already know. It would be straight up combat.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true martial artist.
Lightsaber, dueling, 100%. I'd be like Bane, just trying to figure out the martial artistry of it all. And, meditating my pain away so I can get back into the ring. But I just love martial arts in general. I think it's beautiful.
That's health class. Health doesn't count.
Martial arts, it's a very serene activity. Even though, I'll give an example. I did judo for a long time. Judo, you're throwing a whole person, maybe twice your size. Doesn't matter. The height is literally irrelevant to judo. You're throwing a whole person to the ground, and even that sport can be extremely graceful when taught. And I believe that learning something where you're forced to hone in that I guess that skill, I don't really know what else to call it. The Force would just hone it in even like 10 times more intense, and
sure,
you would just be your will would be strong, right? In my opinion, your will would be very strong, be very capable in a lot of situations. But also, I feel like you could learn, similar to when I started doing martial arts. A lot of people who end up doing those things, they realize how dangerous they become in their skills and tend to try to de-escalate a lot of things and understand like the duty that comes with that knowledge. So, yeah.
I feel like you could definitely get plenty of practice at that subject compared to, science. Here at the Jedi Academy. If combat is your thing, you're in the right place, Freddie. Okay, Emily, your favorite subject at Jedi Academy?
Probably like force power usage, something like that. So like manipulating environments,
sorcery.
kind of working with sorcery. There you go. I like that a lot. Sorcery would for sure be my favorite. Like how to kind of work with the flow and kind of
Darth
use
Hannah.
Darth Hannah. Well, Sith sorcery probably not taught at the Jedi Academy. That would be my number one. But if I had to choose, probably, just the Force. I guess I like battle meditations, finding ways to like enhance other skills.
Definitely the best Force power in all of Legends. So if you want to learn that one, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Bane couldn't beat it.
Nope. That's right. So isn't there like a subplot in iJedi where this is just now ringing a bell for me? Corran spends like a couple chapters just like trying really hard to use force telekinesis, but he can't get stuff to move. Yeah. It's like a whole thing where he can't do it.
Interesting.
Try as he might. Yeah, Corran, that's his Achilles heel. He can't use force telekinesis.
Wow.
Yeah.
He can absorb blaster bolts, but he can't use force telekinesis.
Guess
we all have our weaknesses. You're just no Luke Skywalker.
That's right.
Nice.
And that's why he's Corey Helton's favorite character. That's why right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, your favorite subject. Great pick so far, guys. Favorite subject at the Jedi Academy.
Essence transfer for reasons.
Oh,
I love it.
Rick wins for sure.
If not that,
are you talking about like transmittance from the bottom region kind of essence transfer, or
I wasn't sure we were going with that for a second.
Force flatulence.
Force flatulence. No, I was saying certain skills that some might consider unnatural, perhaps.
Yeah, you're only going to learn those in Exar Kun's tomb.
Sorry. Hey, it's there. It's there. No.
Unnatural.
Yes. No. Okay. I would. This is kind of a joke too, but like force persuasion will be really, really fun. Learning how to do mind tricks on people, Jedi mind tricks.
They've got to teach like safety for that,
Sure, yeah. Ethics. Jedi ethics,
That's
it's an often missed class that appears in a lot of
essence transfer,
yeah,
mind control. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're going to the Dark Academy with all those other guys.
No, the Shadow Academy. It's
all right, fine.
Shadow Academy.
Force healing, I guess. Force healing. We'll make them all better.
Here you go, I guess.
Here's some life.
One of Luke's students. She's I almost said an Admiral Akbar. What are they called?
Mon Calamari.
Yeah, Mon Calamari.
That's her thing. She's got her specialty.
I loved her
for sure. Yeah. So mine would be the history/music class, both of them at the same time.
Okay.
I did both band and choir, and I love history for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught a year-long church history class at my last church, and it was the last thing I did.
That's interesting.
Nice.
Right.
And now,
I feel like we all kind of picked like a very interesting topic. We've got combat, which is like the PE. We've got alchemy, so the alchemy or whatever we're calling it, the wizardry, which is probably the closest you're going to get to science.
Like chemistry, yeah. Chemistry and also superstition.
Yeah, there you go. First aid with Rick's classes. And then we've got the history and music covered in Jared's class.
Yeah, that's real helpful when a Sith comes out, swinging a lightsaber. Let me get my piccolo.
Okay.
Hold on.
Let me play you a song, the song of my people.
Let's talk about the Force history real quick, because the Jedi are supposed to be extinct.
She's
or the
a very
Force, the
important
Sith.
character, and she ends up becoming one of the new headmasters for the Academy when Luke goes off to fight the Vong. And
hey, listen, had there been more ethics at the Academy, you know what I'm saying? Like less music, more ethics. And I was a band kid, so I feel bad saying that.
All right, next round. Who would you sit next to at lunch?
The teacher.
The healing one.
Teacher's
Whatever
pet
her
right
name
here.
is. Oh,
I'm gonna
teacher's
say-
pet. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Maybe sit next to Loey or like the biggest, strongest Jedi, so nobody would pick on you.
Mm-mm.
Well, let's see. I definitely wouldn't mind hanging out with Lobaka because, as an engineer, I've always been into taking things apart and putting them together. So considering that if that was still my character in that universe, I'd probably be like, oh, I need to hang out here and check this out. This is cool. Right. And he's yelling at me in what is it? Shriwook?
Shriwook, yeah.
Shriwook. Telling him to pass me the hydro spanner, and he's like, "That's not the hydro spanner," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, Dad."
Yeah, that's a great pick. All right, how about this one for our lightning round here? We got to go quickly through it. Would you have a nemesis, Emily? I think you threw this one in the chat. Is there a reason you threw this one in? My wife always teases me because I'll be like, "Yeah, I knew him. He was my arch nemesis in high school," and she's like, "People don't have arch nemesis in high school." I was like, I did. There was this one guy who, I swear, I'm not even kidding. If you're out there, I got a bone to pick with you, bro, buddy.
I got
all
one.
right? His name is Conrad.
Ooh.
And
Conrad.
he dated all of my ex-girlfriends right after me.
Oh, goodness.
Every single one. It was like we broke up, and I was like, I can smell it. And I turn around, they're right behind me, the two of them. Every single time. Seriously, 5 or 6 in a row.
Rebound.
He dated
5 or 6?
Hold on. Do we need to have like a talk about your dating history
talk
here?
to some people. What in the world?
Not on the show.
Okay.
Did you
Not on
ever
the show,
confront him
right.
about it?
Oh, I don't remember. Probably. I'm very confrontational. Probably.
Arch nemesis, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Would you have an arch nemesis at the Jedi Academy? Mine's probably, whoever's dating my ex-girlfriends.
I
Luke.
definitely would. Whoever's Gantoris. I could definitely see myself with some sort of nemesis kind of relationship with Corran Horn.
Same.
Completely, right? I would, if I had ever found out if I was in that universe and I had ever found out what Wedge told him, I would say that all the time. You're no Luke Skywalker, Corran, and just
You're
like
good, kid, but
continuously
you're no Luke
hammer him
Skywalker.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would do that,
That's
but I would
just fair.
definitely hate his guts.
I do that.
I really
I
don't
would
like it when people don't play by the rules. Like
He's
if
very
you
good
were
at
like
combat
break
for
all
that
the
reason.
rules.
Very cocky, very suspicious of everybody. He thinks he's the
Yes.
hero of the story. Yeah.
Main character syndrome.
All right, I'm gonna lower it a level, and like anybody that's better than me, I'm just gonna be like, I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
Got to turn your hat backwards. for
Yeah,
that one.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so,
And then Luke is gonna take your Pokemon cards away.
that's right. There's no trading at this school.
All right, 2 more rounds here. What if Rick was the Jedi Academy bus driver?
Beep beep.
What kind of shenanigans would you get into on the school
Oh,
bus?
don't.
Gas
There's hold on.
masks.
There's no shenanigans. This is a matter of safety. I need you to keep your feet on the floor, bottom on the seat, facing forward out
What
of
if
the
they're
aisle.
levitating? What
Get
if
out of the aisle!
What if
Okay.
they're-
I
The
can
Jedi-
totally see Rick like off-roading through like the jungle of Yavin 4, just like bumping over like Force ghosts. I can see it.
Oh man, they
bumping over
Force
Force ghosts? I thought you were gonna say.
Hitting dead Masasi everywhere.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
man.
I did have to give Rick the shout out there for his school driver days. School driver?
Thank you for
Bus
your
driver
service.
Bus
days.
driver, school driver. Yeah.
I drove to school.
Schoolmaster days.
Goodness.
Okay,
yeah.
and finally, last category. What do you pack in your backpack for your school year at Luke's Jedi Academy on Yavin 4? The Jedi Praxium. In fact, that's the term that's used, is Praxium. Turns out like the Wook has like a whole section on the history of that name. And there were a bunch of names that were rejected. I did not know this before tonight. He ended up using the word Praxium, comes from the word praxis. Just like, teaching methods. Does that sound right, Emily? You're the one that did
Yes.
the teaching. All right.
I think there's like a test. I think the praxis tests are the ones that you take to become a teacher, like to certify.
Okay. Yeah. So listen to some of the rejected names real quick. Luke's Jedi Campus. Luke's Jedi Cloister.
Cloister.
Luke's,
Cloister. Are there
Luke's
rabbis in
Jedi-
the cloister?
Luke's Jedi Dojo. The Jedi Monastery. I like that one. The
That's
Jedi
pretty cool.
Cadre. the Jedi Laboratory, or my personal favorite, Luke's Jedi Seminary.
Seminary.
I'm wearing my seminary t-shirt tonight.
It's great to be at Harding.
For Luke's home for lost Force sensitives.
Yeah.
But it's the Jedi prax team. So what do you
ragtag.
What do you pick?
Yep.
What do you pack? What do you pack for?
What do you pack for the cloister?
School
Your
for
backpack.
gifted youngsters. Let's see.
So that's what I've thought a lot about with this is the X-Men stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I would definitely go ahead.
It'd be nice to have a holocron. Like if I had managed to come across a holocron and I can use it to cheat during a test.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, how do I do this?
Or at least like you can keep all your information stored in it instead of those big heavy books. I must have tore through like 7 or 8 backpacks in high school.
Oh,
heavy
easy.
Books
Yeah.
we had to cover around, carry around.
Yep.
No, I just had to go back in between each one because they were like this big a piece. They were huge.
Yeah, you gotta take them home and study at night.
No, you don't.
Nah. The only book I ever took home was like art history because that thing. Anyway.
Yep.
I would probably take a lightsaber that also doubles as like a multi-tool, right? There's like a machete attachment. There's like
a butter knife.
Yeah, some like sith repellent spray. You know,
can
it's
shave
like
with it.
It's tools for the jungle. You know.
Okay.
That's what I'd take.
Nice.
Very Ezra Bridger of you to make a multi-purpose lightsaber.
Yeah.
Ooh, like I like his little
There's got a
slingshot.
pen.
Pew pew. Yeah.
Speaking of multi-purpose lightsabers, since we're talking about him, Corran Horn has a lightsaber that extends from one length to the next when he twists it, and it gets longer. When you twist it, it gets longer, and it changes color too. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
That's legit.
I'm not kidding. He does. He's like, I want to make a lightsaber that's better than all these losers' lightsabers. When you twist mine, it gets longer. So shout out to Corran for being just like Emily, quite frankly. So a multi-purpose lightsaber.
Just
you said you want to have a multi-purpose lightsaber.
Mine
just like
had a
Corran Horn.
machete, not like extra
Link.
things.
All right.
There's 2. Moving right along. Who's next?
What about like a lightsaber that's so thick it's a thermos? You can keep your Campbell's soup in there.
Ooh. Kyber crystal keeps it at a certain temperature. Very drinkable.
Definitely not going to like contaminate you with radiation. Very good. Okay. We got some other good ones here in the notes. You guys want to take any of these?
I've
Sith Ghost.
Who
Sith
said
Ghost
extra
repellent
hands?
spray. That's a good one.
Okay. What's your Sith Ghost repellent spray?
Who wrote that? That
What do you
wasn't me.
say?
That's a
Take
good
that
one.
ghost and spray them.
Piss off, ghost.
Thanks.
Ew, Exarcoon, gross.
Oh.
Your ectoplasm out of here.
Yeah.
Who wrote extra hands in the show notes?
I did not write that. What was that? Rick?
Not me.
It wasn't
That was
you.
me either. I don't know who that was.
Jared.
Was it me? I did. Yep, that was me.
Oh, for
You.
Luke.
It was
For Luke, in case he needs a
wrote these.
replacement.
I wrote the show notes
replacement
2
hands.
weeks ago. I wrote
Okay.
these. Yeah.
Replacement hands.
Extra hands.
I must have
For
wrote that.
what?
Was funny. Okay, I totally forgot I wrote that. Sith Ghost repellent spray. Here's another good one. Qui-Gon's rebreather. You never know when
that's
you
very practical. I like
gotta
that.
go underwater.
I was thinking, like, I had this whole like inner dialogue about, I'm always like, how can I make things easier? And I was like, a computer, like a laptop. But then Freddie said holocron. I'm like, oh yeah. So
Extra hands.
Yeah, data pads.
Extra hands. Come
A
in
data
handy.
pad, for
Uh,
sure.
Data pads for sure.
Data
Yeah.
pad, yeah, or like just
data pad.
an audio recorder, just because like I was notorious in college, especially about like getting tired, and like I would struggle to stay awake, and I had to like audio record all my lectures that I like was listening to because I couldn't do it. Like after 2:00, I was useless, man.
I would front load those 7:30 classes, Rick.
I'm a morning person. Those were fine.
man.
It was after lunch. I was a zombie.
I wasn't.
I wasn't
just
good for
remember
either of them. At one point, I had a
bring-
professor throwing stuff at me to wake me up.
Ooh,
We
nice.
had one of those.
It
We
was
had one of
rough.
those. I would bring a Mountain Dew and a donut for my 7:30 classes. Then I would literally sit on the front row and just do this.
Yeah. I was
Just like whatever it took to try to stay awake. I just remember one of my professors being like, "What are you doing?"
I
It's
can
like-
see you doing that.
I was like, "I'm staying awake. I'm enjoying myself. I
Yeah.
don't care how it looks."
Some of my Mountain Dew
So
and my
funny.
donut. What? Is that what you would take?
Yeah.
Mountain Dew and a donut?
for sure.
And extra hands, just in case. Yeah.
To hold your Mountain Dew and donut while you're
from Daylight Donuts across the street, right?
Daylight.
Yeah. So my mom worked on campus, and she would bring me those cane sugar Mountain Dews. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the ones in the glass bottles.
Sugar is like.
No, like I guess like the time when we were in high school, there was this period of time where like they were selling like old label Mountain Dews. They had like
I remember
classic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite was the Halo 3 Mountain Dew. That stuff was amazing.
Was that Game Fuel?
How about some Vault?
I think so. I hoarded it in my closet. I literally like got like multiple 12 packs and like rationed them throughout high school.
That's fantastic.
In high school, for me, it was Funyuns and vanilla Coke.
Oh, yeah.
Reese's, pretzels, and Coke. That's what I lived off of.
All right, how about in 90s style, just to close us out, for we're packing in our Jedi lunch boxes. How about some Surge?
Yeah.
Oh
I knew you were going to say it the second you said it.
Freddie and I have been joking about Surge since like the first week of the show.
Yeah.
All right, so we do want to say here at the back to school episode of Legends Look Back, thank you to all of our teachers and administrative professionals out there in the world of education. Helping to educate our youngsters really is an underpaid and underappreciated field, and we wouldn't be here without you. Anybody have like a favorite teacher growing up who was like a total Jedi in their own way? Somebody you want to give a shout out to who really made an impact on you?
I got 3. I'll be quick.
Give us one.
All right, I'll shout out to Mr. Clark, my band director, and also was my like elementary music teacher. That was fun, but great dude. Learned a lot about life. Still in contact with him, and one of my favorite memories was watching Lord of the Rings Extended Edition at his house. So
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's an awesome teacher right there. Somebody who will nerd out with you. Very good. Freddie?
Mine was my 5th grade teacher. Her name was Miss Kaiser. Actually recently passed away not too long ago, but she came to my graduations, all of them, every single one of them.
Wow.
And got to see me grow, and honestly, she was the one that gave me my first Truce Bakura, actually.
What?
She handed it to me and she's like, read this, and I was like, okay.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not giving it back.
Wow. She's
That's
a real
amazing.
one.
So
That's awesome.
definitely one of my favorite teachers. Rest in peace. Great person. She made a huge impact on me, clearly.
My 6th grade teacher berated me for doing a report on Jedi Search, a book report on Jedi Search in 6th grade. She berated me.
Oh.
Emily, you got one?
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Giles. He taught a couple of my classes in high school, and we read a play once, and I got really into the characters just for fun, and he told me to audition for a play, and that literally changed my high school experience. So thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your students and really to encourage them in the things that they're good at. It makes a huge difference.
Wow, that's touching. I've got a little sniffle here. Okay, mine is Miss Coleman. Miss Coleman was my 11th and 12th grade AP English teacher. She had taught at the school for like 34 years. I was in her last class before she passed away. Man, she was so patient with me and all my goofball friends, encouraged us to be better, and like never was mean to us, even though we were so disruptive. She just like truly believed in us, and was just such an amazing teacher in terms of bringing out the best out of all different kinds of students, like ultra nerds and like cheerleaders and football players and band people, just all across the spectrum. Was able to connect with everybody, and had a huge frog collection. That was cool. So
nice.
There's hundreds of frogs. Anyway, she was great. She was great, and definitely appreciate her. May she rest in peace. So thank you to all of our other educators out there. Keep it up. And of course, hey, pass around some Legends books in your classrooms like Miss Kaiser did. Okay, what you got there, Rick?
I just remembered that my mom was my teacher in 7th grade.
And to Rick's mom.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Sorry,
thank
Mom.
you to Rick's mom. Also, to everybody who has joined us for this episode of Legends Look Back. Thank you also to our incredible patrons for your support. I want to give a special thank you to our Jedi High Council, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander. To our Alliance High Command, Elizabeth Cloutier, and Sally and Chris Eilerson. If you want to read along with us right here to tune in to what we are reading on Legends Look Back, you can, of course, pick up some of these books that we are talking about right here on the show. You can speed read them or hey, listen to those audiobooks and be ready to participate in the discussion. Coming up next week, we have The Krytos Trap by Michael A. Stackpole. And Freddie's got something planned. Freddie was planning some sort of Krytos Trap shenanigan before the show, and I'm excited to hear what it is. If you want to tune in next week on Legends Look Back, you can find out all about that. If you, of course, are watching this on YouTube, remember to sub to the channel and leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. If you're listening on audio, that helps other folks find the show just like you have. If you want your thoughts around the show, you can email us at legendslookback@utini.com. You can send a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel, or you can get in touch with us on Twitter. I'm at Jared Q. Mays. Freddie.
At Wake Up Freddy.
Rick.
At Rick_Grace.
And Emily.
At Darth Davik.
Remember, after you have read the books, you've let us know what you think, you've posted those comments on YouTube, you've wrote all about it on Goodreads and social media. Remember, however you do it, to always keep the Utini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. Until next week, may the force be with you.